Okay, so let's finish up equivalent expressions by talking about expressions with exponents. This is the most challenging of these three because they might do expressions like x to the fifth power squared, which is in terms of x. So that one we can actually, this is power to the power, which is x to the 10th. So we can actually put that in and you'll see graphs. But there will be other problems that have like a to the 5th squared equals a to the 10th. And for when we have any other letter besides x by itself, you're going to have to use sliders. And so Desmos is going to help us do this so we don't have to memorize all of our exponent rules. There's quite a few of them. The other thing that is true with sliders is you want to make sure you check two values, like move that slider. And then the other thing is if you have an expression that's like xy squared, you're going to need to change that to different letters. So pick two letters. I could pick A and B and then make x is A, y is B, so B is going to be squared. So if there's expressions with x's and y's, that is a no love right there. All right, so let's look at two different questions. They are both slightly different, and then there's actually one more. Actually, no, we're just going to do these two. All right, so let's get to page 22. All right, so here is our first one. Oh my gosh, and one more thing about Desmos. There's always one more thing. So first of all, let's just take a moment to read the question. It says the expression 5 raised to the power of a plus 2b is equivalent to. And so equivalent is equal to. All right, so this 5a plus 2b, where all of this is the exponent, Desmos is going to get mad. So let's show you what Desmos does. If you type in 5 and then go to your keyboard and do that. Whoops, I didn't get my 5 even. 5 exponent. And you put a and ignore that slider thing and then put plus. Do you see how I just went back down to normal level and I'm not as an exponent anymore? So this is where we need to take a different approach. I'm going to back it up. You need to put in parentheses for anything that's a binomial with addition and subtraction. So now we have alphabet. A plus 2b. And it says add a slider, and you're going to say, well, heck yeah, let's add a slider. And so a couple things to see. Right now, it automatically sets A at 1 and B at 1. So we have two different sliders. We're going to want to make sure that we move both when we play around with this. All right. So now we're going to go back to the question. This is the original expression that we were given in the question. And what we're going to do, and I think I'm just going to make this small, there we go, is we're going to try each choice. So I'm down here in 4, line 4, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to utilize my keyboard on my computer. So I have 5 raised to the A, and then I need to do times. Times is shift 8. Or you can go ahead and just use the keyboard that's right here and use the multiplication. All right, I'm just going to get rid of that. And then we have 5 squared. And then make sure you get out of that. And then we have times, so shift 8, 5 raised to the B. Okay, so here we go. Choice 1. This is the problem. This is choice 1. They are not equal. So I'm going to be able to go over here and just cross out choice 1. I'm not using that. Now we're going to go to choice 2. So I'm just going to edit this. And I like 5A, but it's supposed to be 25B. So I'm going to get rid of this junk here in the middle. Ooh. Now it says 125. So this is what you're going to do to check. So right now I'm liking this. If I check this, ooh, they're still the same. And then just once again, move B Are they still the same? Yes. So as long as I can move them and they stay the same all the time, then I am okay. So this is the correct answer to number 22. I'm going to go ahead and just circle that. That's my correct answer. And then this is what I'm also going to say is that if I go over and look at these other two, just once again, be careful with the idea of what works and what doesn't work. So 25 carat 2AB, there it is, 625, and they didn't need to use parentheses. But when I go to do the last choice, if I hit A plus, notice how it just did that. So I'm going to go back here and put parenthesis A plus 2B. And you can see that this is a very different number than what's up above. Okay, very good. All right, so there we go. Question number 22 is done. All right, so now the next one is a little bit more complicated. It's question 3 from an exam, which means it was really early in that exam. And the reason why this is a little bit more complicated is because there's equal signs in here, and they're asking us which one equation, and remember an equation is 2 expressions, is always true. So first thing, let's just go ahead and go back to Desmos and just try typing one of these in to see what happens. I'm going to go with choice 4 because that's the one that was most like what we had previously. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to clear all this. Okay, and I'm going to start with choice 4, which is 7 carat A times 7B equals 7 carat AB. And it's nothing showing up anywhere, and there's this. So let's see. We only support implicit equations of x and y. So basically, since we're not using x and y, it's unhappy. So let's just go back to the idea that up above, we were looking for an expression that was equivalent to another expression. So expression equal to another expression. Well, basically, we had that this was in line 1 of Desmos, and this was in line 2 of Desmos because this was the question and this was the answer. Well, we can do that here. If we put this in line 1 and this in line 2, we can figure out if they are equivalent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to grab this expression and move it down here. And I'm also going to get rid of this equal sign here, and I'm going to say add a slider. And right now it says 49 is equal to 7. And even if I move a slider, oh, nothing's looking good. If it's not equal in the beginning, it's just not equal, okay? But you do need to try at least one other thing, and that's moving both of them. But since they're unequal right now, we know this one is false. So now let's go ahead and try choice 3. Choice 3, and this is, I don't need A's and B's. I'm just going to get rid of all that. Okay, so now I have negative Z carat 2, and I will say, yes, please add a slider. And I go down to line 3, and I put Z squared. All right. Well, this one says -1. This one says +1. Oh, that's really interesting, though, right? You see how it's negative and positive? So be careful, though. A negative number is not the same thing as a positive number, especially if you've ever played Jeopardy. So This is also false. So now we're moving over to these. And when we go to these, I am going to go ahead and do the same thing and go x squared. And I can see that graphs are being made. I'm not going to get too worried about graphs. I can, though. Well, I will get worried about graphs. I'm going to take that out. Okay, x squared, good Lord, times x cubed. Okay, there it is. There's my graph. I'm going to go down here and put in x to the 5th. And there it is. I turn off the purple. There's the green. I turn on the purple. It's right on top. This one is the correct answer. It's always true. Oh, I wanted the bubble. Out of shape. So this one is the correct answer. Choice 1. We're good to go there. Let me grab that eraser and get rid of that little guy right there. There he is. That is correct. All right, so the last thing that you're going to see in these, and I don't have an example here in the book. We just saw it in an exam, and that's why it's fresh in my head, is it gave us an expression like 2xy squared. And the problem is it's not x, like y equals mx plus b. The x and the y are together. So what we did is we changed that to 2ab squared, and we got sliders to pop up. And that way we were able to check which things were equivalent. Now, if this is like jamming you up, please understand it's one question, just one. So, for example, that was question 3 on exam, but question 4 was PEMDAS, equivalent, easy. 19 was also a PEMDAS, not that difficult. And then question 30 was a factor completely. It's kind of wild to go through, and actually I want to say maybe, yeah, so here we are. Question 1, factor. Question 2, PEMDAS. Question 17, PEMDAS. Question number 22, expressions. Question number 30, factor completely. So out of those 5 questions / 10 points, let's aim for 6. That's all you need to do. You can do it. And then you got more points towards passing. Life is good. All right. That's the end of equivalent expressions.